Shalom. So, first, I would like to apologize for not having um, done the stream for a couple of weeks. This is my busy season at work. So, unfortunately, I was not able to do that. Okay, we are on Bereshit 34, Genesis 34. And this is the Dinah incident. Oof. Okay. So, now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, the daughter Leah had borne to Jacob, went out to visit the women of the land. Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to look out about among the daughters of the land. ותצא דינה בת לאה אשר ילדה ליעקב לראות בבנות הארץ. Okay. So תצא, it's לצאת, to leave. Although I'm guessing they're going to say the root is Yud Tzadik Aleph. Yeah, that's what they say. It is certainly arguable that it actually should be Tzadik Aleph Hey, or that there is a two-letter root here. So, okay. Vatitze Dina Bat Leah, the daughter of Leah, Asher Yalda, which she bore. So obviously that's going off Leah. Another possible two-letter root, three-letter root. Le Yaakov, to Jacob. Lirot, and lirot is written bemilui. Um, Common verb. We don't see it that often in the infinitive with the lamed. Bivnot is also written bemilui. The daughters, right? So ben is son, bat is daughter, uh, banim is sons, and banot is daughters. This is bivnot. So that is a little strange to see with the daughters. Maybe you would use the preposition. I'm guessing Rashi says no. Rashi's not talking about that. Yeah. So next verse. And when Shem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. When Shem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw her, he took her and raped her. And Shem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her, and he took her, lay with her, and violated her. Okay? V'yar otah Shem ben Hamor hachivi nisi haaretz v'yikach otah v'yishkav otah v'yaneha. Okay. So Vayar and he saw Otah. There's the dagesh in the hay makes it an aspirated hay and lets you know that it's to her. And yeah, it's Otah tells you that it's the direct object marker as opposed to Ita, which would mean with her. That's the preposition at. Shem ben Hamor hachivi, right? So Shem, the son of Hamor, hachivi, the Hivite, nisi haaretz. So this is a construct of nisi, which comes from the root to rise, to linsoa, right? To go. Well, no, that's with an ayin and it's sameh. But nesiat kapayim, right? Like raising hands. Yeah, comes from. I should say comes from nasa. Yeah, to lift, carry, take. So, um, it's usually translated as prince. Literally, I mean, president might actually be better. Somebody who's above, and it's in a construct form with land, right? And as usual, um, the article only shows up on the last thing in the chain. Vayikach otah, and he took her. So yikach otah usually we would translate as he married her, but obviously that's not what's going on here. Vayishkav otah, and he lay with her, he slept with her, right? Shachav, shin chaf bet. Vayaneha, right? And he oppressed her, right? So ta'anit, when we have a fast day, um, right? It's used in the Bible also when we talk about Yom Kippur, right? It says ta'anet nafshecha. Um, so oftentimes gets translated as to oppress, to afflict, to I guess pain, but obviously here it's talking in an intimate way because yeah. Verse 3. His soul clung to, or was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved young woman, and spoke kindly or tenderly to the young woman. His heart was drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob. He loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. And his soul cleaved to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. He loved the girl and he spoke to the girl's heart. ותדבק נפשו בדינה בת יעקב, ויאהב את הנערה, וידבר al lev hana'ara. Now, interestingly here, we would expect na'ara to have a hey at the end. It doesn't. Do with that whatever you will, but we read it na'ara. Usually it would have a hey. It doesn't. So, tidbak, right? The root is a daled bet kuf, which means to cling. A dibuk you may have heard of, and this is the same word that is used regarding Adam and Eve. He shall cleave to his wife, right? Is also davak. Nafsho, his nefesh. However you want to translate nefesh, soul is fine. Bet Dinah, right? In Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov. Vayehav. How do you say the spelling of heckle in Hebrew letters? I don't know how to say heckle in Hebrew. Sorry, Grim. So, and he loved. This is in the consecutive, right? And yeah, I mean the root is to love. I don't know how loving that is, how he treated her, but it is what it is. Vaidaber al lev hanara. He spoke up to the heart of the girl, of the young woman. Na'ar means young man. Na'ara is a young woman. Um, yeah, and al is with the ayin here. So, verse 4. So Shem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young woman as a wife." And Shem said to his father Hamor, "Get me this girl as my wife." And Shem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Take this girl for me as a wife." Vayomer Shem el Hamor aviv le'emor, kach li et hayalda hazot leisha. So he said to his father, right? That's with the aleph. Aviv, his father, le'emor, saying, "Kach." This is the command form of to take. So he's saying, "Get me, yeah, take for me." Lakachat isha, right, is considered one of the ways of talking about getting married. Li et hayalda, the it literally comes from to be born. Usually, it refers to a very young child, yeled. Um, so hayalda hazot, that particular woman, leisha, as a wife. Okay, verse 5. And Jacob heard that he had defiled his Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob held his peace, kept silent, until they came. Um, when Jacob heard that his daughter Dinah had been defiled, his sons were in the fields with his livestock. So he did nothing about it until they came home. Uh, Jacob had heard that he had defiled his daughter Dinah, but his sons were with his livestock in the field, and Jacob kept silent until they came home. Vayakov Shama, he heard. Right? It's in the perfect. Ki time et dina. So this root is tameh is as opposed to tahor, right? Tameh and tahor, pure and impure, right? Tameh is impure. So he had defiled, he had made impure. It's in the PL, which is the intensive. Um, we don't use tameh as a verb all that often, right? So he had made her impure. Bito, his daughter, Uvanav, and his sons, Hayu et Miknehu, they were with. So this is the preposition at, and you just have to tell that from context. Miknehu, his livestock. Literally, mikneh means things that are bought, but it usually refers to actually large animals. Um, but sadeh, in the field, there is an article in the cantillations there. I mean, in the vocalization, sorry. So the field. Vehechresh. Interesting. So I was actually expecting the dome. Um, Het resh shin means um, to be be silent, right? Um, Interestingly, this is written bechisaron, and so a cheresh is somebody who is literally, and I'm using the original meaning of the word dumb, a mute, right? So he was silent. Yaakov ad Boam, until they came, right? Boam, until their coming. Okay, verse 6. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. Then Shechem's father Hamor went out to talk with Jacob, and Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. Vayetze, so this is again like the Tetze we had in verse 1. Right? Hamor Avi Shechem, so Hamor, the father of Shechem. This is a common way of saying the father of someone, Avi. Right? It's an interesting construct. I'm guessing most people who speak modern Hebrew would actually probably get it wrong. Although, no, I guess we do use Avi, so and so in modern Hebrew as well. It is a weird construct there, a little bit. El Yaakov, so this is with the Aleph. Ledaber ito. So we switched from Aleph Mem Resh, which is one of the ways of saying to speak, to uh, Dalet Bet Resh, which is the other very popular one. Um, Omer is almost always in the Pal, in the simple form, and Daber, like here, is almost always in the PL, which is considered more intensive. And so we basically say that Daber tends to be more harsh speaking, while Emor is more uh, is less harsh speaking. And Ito, with him again, we're using the preposition at. Verse 7. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved and very angry because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not to be done. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come in from the fields as soon as they heard what had happened. They were shocked and furious because Shechem had done an outrageous thing in Israel or against Israel by sleeping with Jacob's daughter, a thing that should not be done. And Jacob's sons came had come from the field when they heard, and the men were grieved, and they burned fiercely because he had committed a scandalous act in Israel to lie with a daughter of Jacob, and, and such ought not to be done. I just noticed that this is the first time Grimm showed up on my uh, on Twitch. So I am going to very quickly. Yeah, I thought it was on YouTube. Okay, so let's see. Bird fears because he had committed a scandalous act in Israel to lie with a daughter of Jacob, and such ought not to be done. So let's see what the Hebrew says. Uvnei Yaakov ba'u min hasadeh keshom'am ויתעצבו האנשים ויחר להם מאוד כי נבלה עשה בישראל לשכב את בת יעקב וכן לא יעשה. Okay, so the sons of Jacob, Ba'u, they came from the field, right? The field, Keshom Am, as they heard it, when they heard it, yeah, in their hearing. Vayit Atzbu, so this is the reflexive form of Atzav, which usually, I mean, it can mean angry as well. Um, Atzuv, oftentimes you would say grieved, mournful, right? Um, Ha'anashim, the men. That's interesting that it calls them the men. Veyichar lahem. So, Haron um, literally means, so Haron af literally means for your nostril to flare, and both Haron and af and together are used regarding anger in the Bible. So Vayichar lahem, and it made them angry, and it inflamed them. Maybe I would say me'od, very much, and me'od is almost always written b'chisaron. He nevala asa be'Israel. Now this is an interesting thing. And navala is a carcass, senseless or disgraced from Nabal. See, I'm thinking it was like nevela, which we use to a speak about a animal carcass. I'm pretty sure that's what a nevela is. Naval, foolish or senseless. Hmm. Especially of the man who has no perception of ethical or and religious claims. Uh, Pretty sure nevela gets used for animal carcasses as well. Let me just check really quick here. Yeah, Nevela. So they're not including it in their. I mean, did they cite Deuteronomy 14:21? They did. I did not see it. Um, no, so they seem to be thinking that it's a different route. I'm not so sure I agree with that. Let me see. Senseless Neville. Scan. Yeah, carcass or so they're saying that that's a different from Navel, which so they're saying it's two different routes, whereas I would say that it's one route. Um, and it's just used in different ways. So okay, Nivala Asa, and I guess they're making a difference based on the vocalizations. The root is the same, it seems to me. Okay, Asa be Israel, he did in Israel. Lishkav, right, to lay with. Et bat Yaakov, vechen lo yeaseh, and such should not be done. I guess is the way you would translate it. It's it's in the nifal. It's in the passive, right? Um, so nevela asa vechen lo yaseh, and such things and this and so should not be done. Okay, next verse 8. But Hamor spoke with him, saying, with them, saying, the soul of my son Shem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife. But Hamor said to them, my son Shem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife. And Hamor spoke with them, saying, my son Shem, his soul has a liking for your daughter. Please give her to him for a wife. Vaidaber Hamor itam le'emor Shem beni chashka nafsho. Interesting. Um, Bivitchem tnuna otah lo leisha. So daber itam is the preposition, right? With them saying Shem beni, Shem my son, chashka. So cheshek is a desire. Longing, I guess, is fine. But it's not the same words that we had before. Nafsho, again, his nefesh. Be'vitchem. Interesting. In your daughter, and the your is in the second person masculine plural. Bitchem, not bitcha. Right? Not yours as in to one person, but uh, yeah. So you might even translate this as your sister. Tenu, so this is the command form of latet, to give. Um, na, I usually translate, it's an interjection, I usually translate as please. Sometimes it's translated as now. Ota lo leisha, to him as a wife. Okay, next verse. Where were we? And make marriages with us, give us your daughters, give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. Intermarry with us, give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves. And intermarry with us, you shall give us your daughters, and you shall take our daughters for yourselves. והתחתנו אותנו, בנותיכם תיתנו לנו, ואת בנותינו תיקחו לכם. Interesting. Okay. So this is the first time I've seen Hatan, right? Het taf nun is I mean it means marriage. A Hatan is a groom, right? A bridegroom. Um and it's in the reflexive. So the reflexive can be used for people like seeing each other, right? So one of the ways you say in modern Hebrew, "see you" is lehitraot, until we see each other. People will sign letters lehitkatev, until we write again. So hitchatnu, right? We will get married. Um, yeah, it's in the command form. Hitchatnu. I'm not very familiar with the command form in the hitpael, but I'm sure it's right. You can use the constructor if you want to check. Otanu, right? With us. Um, I'm a little bit. I thought that the preposition at the direct object marker is. So now I'm getting a little bit confused. So the direct object marker is easily confused with the preposition et, which has an identical standard form. When taking a pronomial suffix, however, the two words can be distinguished by the vowels they select. The direct object marker takes a cholem or cholem vav vowel with an attached suffix, ot, and the preposition et. This is with a cholem. So, yeah, this is the direct object marker, and that makes sense. Yeah, so I would say that's a mistake. That it's saying it's the preposition. That's the direct object marker. Okay, benotechem, and benot is written bechisaron, right? Your daughters, all of your daughters, right? All y'all's. Titnu, right? You will give us lanu. Be'et benotenu, and our daughters, again written bechisaron. Tikhu lachem, take for yourselves. Verse 10. Um, so shall dwell, so you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, and acquire possessions for yourselves in it. You can settle among us. The land is open to you. Live in it, trade, or move about freely. Also in verse 21. In it, and acquire property in it. Okay. And you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Remain, do business here, and settle there. Okay. Ve'itanu, so this time it's the preposition, right, as opposed to otanu. Teshavu v'haaretz tihye lifnechem shavu uscharuha v'ha'achazu bah. Interesting. Okay, so um, this is, they would probably say is yud shin bet is yeah, to sit, remain, dwell, um, settle, right? So dwell, right? I almost expected this to be gar, lagur, gimel vav, right? Teshvu v'haaretz, right? So with us, dwell, live, remain. Um, haaretz tihye lifnechem, and the land shall be before you. Shavu, so again, it's the same, it's like the same. Well, this one is the imperative, is the command form, whereas the previous was just the imperfect. Um, Uskaruha, so this is Sahar. Skora, written with a samech, means travel about. I thought it was to trade. Customer, merchant, yeah, merchant. I think I remember it from Proverbs. Yeah, 31. Ke'oniot socher, right? Sin chafresh, I believe, is the other sachar. Um, don't get them confused. They are, I mean, they they're somewhat similar, but they are different. I'm pretty sure that one is uh, with a chaf, and this is with a het. Um, okay, so and trade in it, right? Do commerce in it. Sparuha, the ha, the feminine, is referring to eretz, which is feminine, almost always. The ha'achazu, um, and that's interesting that it's the nifal. I'm not sure I've seen the command form of the nifal very many times, but um, achaz means to take, ochez means to grab, grasp, right? And this is, and it shall be acquired to you, and you shall acquire. It's in the command form, and it's also in the nifal, in the passive, bah, in it. So don't know how you want to translate that. Okay, verse 11. Then Shem said to her father and her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I will give." Then Shem said to Dinah's father and brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give you whatever you ask." And Shem said to her father and to her brothers, "May I find favor in your eyes. Whatever you tell me, I will give." Vayomer Shem el aviha ve'el acheha eמצא חן בעיניכם ואשר תאמרו אלי אתן. So, matzachen, right? To find favor, to find hen. This is used in other places as well, right? Mem tzadik aleph is to find. Um, be'enechem, to find favor in someone's eyes. This is it's used in a lot of places. You can use your concordance. All y'all's eyes. Va'asher. So, oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. It's aviha, her father, and her brothers. Acheha. Right? Single brother would be achiha. It's acheha. Okay. Um. So hopefully you can't hear the ambulance behind me. Okay. Va'asher tomru alai, and that which you say, you shall say to me, right, with an aleph, eten, I shall give. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. Verse 12. Ask me ever so much dowry, bride price, and gift, and I will give according to what you say to me. But give me the young woman as a wife. make the price for the bride and the gift I am to bring as great as you like, and I'll pay whatever you ask me. Only give me the young woman as my wife. Impose upon me a large marriage settlement and gifts, and I will give as much as you ask of me, but give me the girl for a wife. Harbu alai me'od. Mohar. Okay. Um, Umatan ve'etna et ka'asher tomru alai utnu li et hana'ara le'isha. Um, so I actually noticed the Chabad in the Hebrew says that the Kativ is Nar. Did they do that earlier as well? Yeah, they did. Yeah. Okay. This one, I guess, isn't making that distinction. Okay. So harbu, it's the causative of larov, right? Much, many. So make great. Alai with the ayin, me'od, as always with the chisaron. Mohar is not a word I knew. How many times is it used? Three times in the Bible. Late Hebrew, Arabic, mm, Aramaic, mohara. Okay. See mahar. Mahar? I mean, I guess they're saying it's used two more times. Although maher is to make haste. And seems to me that they should be related. Seems to me. Okay. Umatan and giving, right? Gift. Okay. Matan. To, matana is usually how we say gift. Ve'etna, and I will give, right? The hey at the end is the cohortive. Um, Ka'asher tomru, as you say, right? According to, yeah, what you say. Ka'asher tomru. Alai, with aleph. Utnuli, and you will give me, it's in the command form. Utnuli, and all y'all will give me. Et hana'ara leisha, the young woman as an wife. And again, it's written without a. Okay, verse 13. But the sons of Jacob answered Shem and Hamor, his father, and spoke deceitfully because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. Because their sister Dinah had been defiled, Jacob's sons replied deceitfully as they spoke to Shem and his father Hamor. Uh, Thereupon Jacob's sons answered Shem and his father Hamor with cunning, and they spoke because, after all, he had defiled their sister Dinah. ויענו בני יעקב את שכם ואת חמור אביו במרמה. וידברו, sorry, אשר טימא את דינה אחותם. Hmm. Okay. So la'anot is to answer, right? Ein nun hey. So they answered the sons of Jacob, and it's apparently all of them, not just some of them. Et Shem ve'et Hamor aviv, right, his father. Bemirma, with deceit. Yeah, mirma. I mean, pretty sure that's what's used in Genesis as well, uh, regarding the serpent. Let's check. Mirma. No, this is the first time it's used. Well, in 27 is the first time it's used. I thought it was used of. I guess not. Yeah. Ramah. Genesis. I was sure it was used of the serpent. Guess not. Hmm. That's. Oh, arome is what it's used. What's used there, not mirma. Okay. Okay. Vaidaberu, and they spoke asher because of, according to, that's what gave me pause, right? That asher here, the pronoun relative. Um, Time et dina achotam. Um, he again made impure Dina, their sister. Uh, Achotam is written bechisaron. If you're paying attention. Okay, verse 14. Good evening. Hello. Grab loops. Uh, and they said to them, "We cannot do this thing to give our sister to our one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us." They said to them, "We can't do such a thing. We can't give our sister to a man who is not circumcised. Uh, that would be a disgrace to us." Well, ciao. Grab Loops is from Brazil. Uh, my I speak Spanish. I don't speak Portuguese, unfortunately. Um, and my Spanish isn't that great. Sorry, but welcome. And they said to them, "We cannot do this thing to give our sister to a man who has a foreskin, for that is a disgrace to us." Vayomru alehem, lo nuchal la'asot hadavar hazeh, latet et achotenu le'ish asher lo orla, ki cherpahi lanu. Okay, so Vayomru, and they said, Alehem, to them, I guess the whole city. Uh, cool. I'm glad you like it. And it's with the aleph. Lo nuchal, right? Yehol means to be able to. This is first person collective. Lo nuchal, we cannot. Okay, and it's written b'milui. La sot is also written b'milui. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We can go as simple on the Hebrew as you like, but I have a lot of content on my YouTube channel mostly. So there's a lot of earlier content. So ask if, because I'm not going as carefully as I could if you have questions. Hadavar hazeh, this thing, right? This very thing. Latet et achotenu, to give our sister, achot again written bechisaron, leish asher lo orla, to a man who has an orla. So arel means so Moses is referred to as Arel Sfataim, right? That he stutters. Orla can also refer to um, trimmings of trees, gleanings from trees. So, um, and and it refers to foreskin, right? somebody who has a foreskin is called an arel, and somebody, as opposed to mahul, right? Um, the word mohel uh, means, and mila really means to cut, but obviously it refers to circumcision. Ki cherpa, because it is a shameful thing, haraf, right? He, and don't be confused with the vav there, with the he. Almost all the pronouns, third person singular pronouns in the Torah are written hey vav aleph, and you have to look at the vocalizations to know if it's um, masculine or feminine. This is obviously feminine. Cherpa, lanu, to us. Okay, next verse. But on this condition, we will consent to you if you will become as we are, if every male of you is circumcised. We will enter into an agreement with you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all your males. But with this, however, we will consent to you if you will be like us, that every male will be circumcised. Ach bezot neot lachem. Interesting. Im tihyu chamonu lehimol lachem kol zachar. Okay. So ach is it's a limiting language, right? So only ach, right? Um bezot, with this, neot. I have no clue what this word is. Neot. It is used 4 times in the Bible. To consent or agree. Properly to come to an assent. Second Kings 12. Here 3 times. So it's used 3 times in this chapter and once in Second Kings, and those are the only times it's used. No wonder I didn't know it. Okay. So we will agree with you, I guess. Yeah. It's in the nifal. It's in the passive. Lachem, with all y'all, right? Im, if, tihyu chamonu, if you be like us. And chamonu, I'm kind of surprised, is written bechisaron. Lehimol, again, is written bechisaron, right? To be mahul, right? To circumcise. Yeah, so the root itself is mem vav lamed. Um, yeah, and it's written usually bemilui. Here it's written bechisaron. Also in Genesis 17, behimolo. Yep, it is what it is. Okay, lehimol lachem, right? To be circumcised yourselves, kol zachar, for yourselves all men. I guess is probably how I would translate it. Kol zachar, right? Zachar means male. Verse 16. Then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. Then we will give you our daughters, and take your daughters for ourselves, will settle among you, and become one people with you. Then we will give you our daughters, and we will take your daughters for ourselves, and we will dwell with you and become one people. V'natanu et benotenu lachem, ve'et benotechem nikach lanu, ve'yashavnu itchem, ve'hainu la'am echad. Okay. So Rashi is pointing out that the nun has has a dagesh, which doubles it. So Natan, the second nun is punctuated with a dagesh because it serves instead of two nuns, like if it had written v'natanananu, right? So Natan is to give, Natan nu, right? We will give. Um, yeah. Our daughters, again b'chisaron, lachem, to all y'all, ve'et benotechem, again b'chisaron, nikach, we will take. Um, right, this is the call form. It's not the nifal. The nun at the beginning is the imperfect. We will take. Lanu, for ourselves. Vayashavnu itchem, and we will dwell with you, right, with all y'all. V'hainu la'am echad, and we shall be one people. Echad. As one people, I guess, with the lamed. Okay. 17. But if you will not heed us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and be gone. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we'll take our sister and go. But if you do not listen to us to be circumcised, we will take our daughter and go. Ve'im lo tishma'u elenu lehim'ol velakachnu et bitenu vehalachnu. So, and if not, right, ve'im lo tishma'u, you will listen, right, shin mem ayin, lehimol, so this time it it is written be milui, to be circumcised, right? In the nifal, it's the passive. Velakachnu et bitenu, we will take literally our daughter, but it makes more sense to do our sister here. Vehalachnu, and we will walk, we will go. Okay, 18. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. Their proposal seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. Their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, the son of Hamor. Veyitvu divrehem be'enei Hamor ve'enei Shechem ben Hamor. So, the root is tov, which is good, can also be beautiful, right? And veyitvu. So they're saying it's just the simple form, I guess. I guess that's right. The root, are they going to say the root is yatev? Yeah. So again, this is a thing of one ver what whether you're saying it's two radicals or three, because yeah, so they have this as a separate root, yud tet bet, which is understandable. That's what was confusing me. There's that double yud there. So yeah, I mean it's a weak pe hapol, first radical of the stem. Divrehem, their words, be'enei Hamor, right, in the eyes of Hamor, uve'enei Shechem ben Hamor, and the eyes of Shechem, the son of Hamor. Next verse. So the young man did not delay to do the thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. He was more honorable than all the household of his father. The young man, who was the most honored of all his father's family lost no time in doing what they said because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. And the young man did not delay to do the thing because he desired Jacob's daughter, and he was the most honored in all his father's household. I'm not sure I would call him honorable. The man just committed rape. Um, Velo echar ha'na'ar la'asot hadavar ki chafetz bevat Yaakov, vehu nichbad mikol beit aviv. So he did not echar, right? So delay, yeah. Aleph after, so acher, right? It's echar means to make it later. So yeah. Um Hanar, now he's it's referring to him as a young man. I think that's the first time. La'asot, written bemilui. Hadavar, that to do the thing, this thing, right? He chafetz bevat Yaakov, because he delighted, he wanted, he desired. I would chafetz. Um, chafetz actually means just thing, but the root chofetz is, you may remember from Chofetz Chaim, right? Who is the man who desires good? The one who keeps his tongue from evil. Um, that's in Psalms. Uh, Bevat Yaakov, the daughter of in with the daughter of Jacob. Vehu nichbad. Um, so the pronoun is kind of being used as a stand-in for the present tense of the verb to be. Nichbad, the root kaved, literally means heavy. I use gravitas a lot to translate it. It is the same word as the clouds of glory, right? Anane kavod. So, yeah, he was most honored, most, yeah, kavod, nichbad. Um, had the most gravitas. Mikol Beit Aviv, from all of his father's house. Okay, verse 20. And Hamor and Shem, his son, came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, so Hamor and his son Shem went to the gate of their city to speak to the men of their city. And Hamor and his son Shem came to the gate of their city, and they spoke to the city of their to the people of their city, saying, Vayavo Hamor uShem beno el Sha'ar Iram, Vaydaberu el Anshe Iram le'emor. So obviously, the gate is considered a gathering place um, of a city. So Vayavo and came, and it's in the singular. Um, kind of expected it to be in the plural, but it is in the singular. Hamor and Shem, his son. El with the aleph. Sha'ar means gate, and it's in a construct form with ear, right? City, so their city. Vaidabru, now it is in the plural, and they spoke. El Anshe, to the men of their city. So Anashim is in the construct form with city here. Le'emor, saying, 21. These men are at peace with us. Therefore, let them dwell in the land and trade in it, for indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives, and let us give them our daughters. These men are friendly toward us, they said. Let them live in our land and trade in it. the land has plenty of room for them. We can marry their daughters and they can marry ours. These men are peaceful with us, and they will dwell in the land and do business there. And the land, behold, it is spacious enough for them. We will take their daughters to ourselves as wives, and we will give them our daughters. Ha'anashim ha'ele shlemim hem. Interesting. Itanu. Veyeshvu ba'aretz v'yisachru otah v'ha'aretz hine rachavat yadayim lifnehem. Interesting. Et benotetam nikach lanu lenashim ve'et benotenu nitan lahem. Niten lahem. Okay, so ha'anashim ha'ele, these men, shlemim hem. So the pronoun is being used as stand-in for the verb to be. The root of shalem, right, is peace, whole, full, right? When you say somebody is shlemim, you say they are whole, but it says with us. And honestly, I would translate that they are honest with us, not at peace. But I can certainly understand the argument for peace. Itanu, with us. Veyeshvu va'aretz, and they shall dwell in the land, right? Ve'isachru otah, and they shall trade it. Interesting. Ve'isachru otah. V'ha'aretz hine rachvat yadayim lifnehem. Interesting way of putting it. So hine is an interjection I usually translate as behold. Indeed, however you want to translate the hine there. I usually do behold just to keep it the same. Rachvat yadayim. So rachav means wide. Yadayim means hands. So rachvat yadayim, I'm not sure I've seen this construction before. Let's see if they have it listed with rachav. Broad. Nefesh, rachavat. Genesis 30, construct rachavat plus masculine plural construct rachave. Isaiah 33. Yeah, it's interesting. It's in a construct. Rachava is in a construct with hand, and it doesn't appear like that happens anywhere else. Rachava el haaretz, rachavat yadayim. Okay, Judges 18:10 also uses this same rachavat yadayim. First Chronicles 4:40, which I'm guessing is a thing. Nehemiah 7:4. Okay, rachavat yadayim. Psalm 104:25. Isaiah 22:18. So actually, it shows up, I mean, a bunch of times. So, yeah. Rachav Yadayim. Wide hands. I mean, it's interesting. I'm not sure how exactly to take it. You might want to use your concordance and look at those other verses which uses the same thing. Lifnehem, before them. Et benotam, again bechisaron, right? Their daughters, nikach, we will take. Lanu lenashim, to us as wives. Benotenu, again, bechisaron. Nitan lahem. We will give to them. 22. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised, as they are circumcised. But the men will agree to live with us as one people only on the condition that our males be circumcised, as they themselves are. However, only with this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to become one people, by every male among us being circumcised, just as they are circumcised. Ach bezot yet yeotu. So this is that verb I didn't know before, and this time it's written bechisaron. Um, Lanu ha'anashim lashevet itanu לחיות לעם אחד, בהימול לנו כל זכר כאשר הם נימולים. Okay, so ach, again, like I said, is a restricting language. Bezot, with this. Yaotu, right? They will consent. Lanu, ha'anashim, the men, the people. Lashevet itanu, to dwell with us. Um, yeah, that's with itanu. Lihiot la'am achad, to be one nation. Behimol, this time it's written milui. Lanu, kol zachar, all the men. Ka'asher hem nimolim, like they are circumcised, and this time it's bechisaron. Um, will not our will not their livestock, their property, and every animal of theirs be ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. Won't their livestock, their property, and all their other animals become ours? So let us agree to their terms, and they will settle among us. Then shall not their cattle, their property, and all their beasts be ours. Let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. Not sure why he's saying that, but okay. Miknehem v'kinyanam v'chol behemtam halo lanu hem ach neota lahem v'yeshvu itanu. Okay, so miknehem, their livestock, like we said before, mikneh means things that are bought and sold. V'kinyanam, and their property, their things which are, again, same root, right? Kinyan, it means to acquire. V'chol behemtam, and all of their behemot, right? So behema, behemoth, it's animals. Yeah, usually we would say a behema is a domesticated animal. Halo, so the hey at the beginning of a word can turn it into a question. So that's why they're saying, so is it not, right? And lo is written bemiloi, which is a little strange. Lanu hem, and so the pronoun is being used as the verb to be here. So is it not, will they not be ours, is how I would translate it. Yeah, hello, lanuhem. Do they not belong to us? Will they not belong to us? Ah, again, restrictive language only. Neota, the hey at the end is the cohortive there, right? So let us consent. Lahem veyeshvu itanu, and they will dwell with us. Okay, verse 24. And all who went out of the gate of his city heeded Hamor and Shechem his son, every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. All the men who went out of the gate, the city gate, agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male in the city was circumcised. And all those coming out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male, all who went out of the gate of his city, became circumcised. וישמעו אל חמור ואל שכם בנו כל יוצאי שער עירו וימולו כל זכר כל יוצא שער עירו. Now, you'll notice that this is the same letzet that we've had since verse 1, to go out, right? And obviously it means to associate with in all of these cases. So Vayishma'u, they listened, El with Aleph, Hamor and Shechem, his son. Kol Yotzei Shar Iro. So that this is one long construct chain, four terms in total, right? Kol, all of, Yotzei, right? So this is the participle of letzeit, the present tense of, so people who go, right? Shar Iro, the gate of his city, one long construct chain. Veyimolu, and they were circumcised. Kol zachar, all the males. Kol yotzei shar iro, and again, same long construct chain, repeated. Okay, verse 25. Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and attacked the unsuspecting city, killing every male. Okay. Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that Jacob's two sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword, and they came upon the city with confidence, and they slew every male. So that is quite a difference in the translation. Unsuspecting city, as opposed to came boldly upon the city. Let's see what the Hebrew is. Vayehi bayom hashlishi bihiotam koavim ויקחו שני בני יעקב, שמעון ולוי, אחי דינה, איש חרבו, ויבואו על העיר בטח, ויהרגו כל זכר. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I see. So they're translating Ha'ir Betach, that the city was secure, felt secure, and that's why they're translating it. No, I have to disagree. Okay. Vayehi biyot hashlishi, and beyom hashlishi. So it was on the third day, right? Yom hashlishi, bayom hashlishi. There is the article there in the vocalization. Bihyotam koavim. When they were, right, bihyotam koavim, in pain. Kev is pain, right? So when they were ailing, is probably how I would translate it. V'ikhu shnei bnei Yaakov, Shimon v'Levi, Achei Dina ish charbo. So the reason why I read that whole thing is because lekachat ish charbo is a very I think it's a pretty common way of speaking, right? Um, each man took up his sword, really. Um, so ish harbo, right? A man takes up his sword. It's it's just the way it's said in Hebrew. So the two sons of Yaakov, Shimon and Levi, Achei Dina, the brothers of Dinah, right? Vayavo, and they came. Al, it's preposition of the ayin, upon. Ha'ir Betach, the city Betach. So Betach means, um, well, in modern Hebrew, it means sure. Right? Somebody asks you something, you say Betach, of course. Bitachon is um, insurance in modern Hebrew. So, um, and there's the psalm, right? Um, Tov livtoach, right? It's better to rely upon God than to rely on men, um, on princes. That's that's the same word that's used there, and it seems it seems to me that Betach is actually talking about Levi and Shimon, not the city, partially because um, Ir is feminine. Ha'ir Betach. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, that's what the NIV seems to want to translate it as. That the city was Betach. That doesn't make sense to me. Veyahargu, and they killed. Notice it's hereg. It's not retzach. Retzach is a murder. Hereg is to kill. Uh, Kol zachar, all the men. Okay, verse 26. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. They put Hamor and his son Shechem to the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. And Hamor and his son Shechem they slew with the edge of the sword, and they took Dinah out of Shechem's house and left. Okay. Ve'et Hamor ve'et Shechem beno hargu lefi charev ve'ikhu et Dina mi beit Shechem ve'yetzeu. So, and Hamor and Shechem, right, his son, hargu, they killed, lefi charev. So literally it means to the mouth of a sword, but its edge makes sense, is I guess how. In fact, I would probably just say with a sword. I'm not sure I would say with the edge. Um, yeah. And Cherev turns to Charev because of the cancellations here. There's a stress there. Um, Veikhu et Dina, and they took Dina from the house of Shem. Veyetzeu, and notice they're using this same word, Yetzia, right? Which has been used this whole chapter. Okay, 27. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city because their sister had been defiled. The sons of Jacob came upon the dead bodies and looted the city where or because their sister had been defiled. Jacob's sons came upon the slain and plundered the city that had defiled their sister. Bnei Yaakov ba'u al hachalalim vayavozu ha'ir asher tim'u achotam. Interesting. Okay, So Bnei Yaakov, the sons of Yaakov, came, Ba'u, Al with the ayin, hachalalim, right? So a halal literally means something that's been defiled, um, has been profaned, not defiled. Um, I guess could be defiled, but profane is really. But halal is also how you refer to a corpse, um, a human corpse. Vayavozu, ha'ir. So um, booze is used as plunder in many places. It's also used to um, vayivez habechora, right, to scorn. So I think they say that it's two different roots. I think it's the same root used in two different ways. However you want to do it. Ha'ir asher tim u achotam, the city which, I mean, it says the city which defiled their sister. Um, I guess you could translate it where their sister. No, I would actually. They make it like the city defiled her, and Achotam is now in written bimilui. Okay, 28. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, which was in the city, and was what was in the field. They seized their flocks and herds and donkeys and everything else of theirs in the city and out in the fields, their flocks and their cattle and their donkeys, and whatever was in the city and whatever was in the field they took. Et so sonam ve'et bakaram ve'et chamorehem ve'et asher ba'ir ve'et asher basadeh lakachu. Okay, so et sonam, their son is small flocks of small animals, as opposed to bakar, which is large animals. So sheep and oxen make sense, right? Bakaram, right? They're bakar. Ve'et chamorehem, and their donkeys. And I think this is partially the way it is because Hamor's name is Hamor, and that means donkey. So, and Hamorehem is written with Bechisaron Vav. Interesting, right? Yeah, they're donkeys. Um, et asher ba'ir, and that which was in the city, ba'ir, vet asher basadeh, that which was in the field, lakahu, they took. 29. And all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives, they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in the houses. They carried off all their wealth and all their women and children, taking as plunder everything in the houses, and their wealth and all their infants and their wives. They captured and plundered, and all that was in the house. So, ve'et kol chelam, ve'et kol tapam, ve'et neshehem, shavu vayavozu et ve'et kol asher babayit. Okay, so they're all of their chayil, right? Wealth is fine. Yeah, I guess you would translate it as wealth. Um, ve'et kol tapam. So a taf is a baby. Usually you refer to like a nursing a toddler as a taf. So and all their little ones, their babies. Vet neshehem and their wives. Shavu. So I mean, you could translate this as they returned, but that's not what it's saying here. So shvuim are captives, right? It's just one way we refer to. So here they took captive is really what it's saying, and I realize it looks like it could be they returned. Um, Ve'yivozu, and they yavozu, and they plundered. Ve'et, or scorned. Ve'et kol asher babait, and everything that was in the house. The house. Interesting. Um, Almost makes me want to say there must have been like a castle or a temple or something. Okay, verse 30. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household, and I." Um, Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, uh, "You have brought trouble on me by making me obnoxious to the Canaanites and Perizzites, the people living in this land. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed." Thereupon Jacob said to Simeon and to Levi, "You have troubled me to discredit me among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and among the Perizzites, and I am few in number, and they will gather against me and attack me, and I and my household will be destroyed." And I just want to note that this is one of the places where you see that the Bible's judgment is very different from the morality of other places. Because generally, what a lot of other places would say was, especially when they're looking at their own history, and obviously Jacob and his sons got away with this, they would glory in it, and say, "Hey, look, we killed people and we took captives," and but that's not what the Hebrew Bible does, and that's, I think, important for somebody who's actually paying attention to the Bible, to realize that. Okay. Vayomer Yaakov el Shimon ve'el Levi, achartem oti lahavish lahavisheni, ביושב הארץ, בכנעני ובפריזי, ואני מתי מספר, ונאספו עלי, והיכוני, ונשמדתי אני וביתי. Okay, so Yaakov says, El with Aleph, Shimon, and to, again, El with Aleph, Levi, um, achartem. So this is with an ayin. Um, to trouble. This is the first time it's used. It's also used in Joshua several times. Judges. Yeah. It's used a total of 14 times. Make turbid. I don't know what the word turbid means. I guess it comes from disturb. It's related to disturb. Um, yeah. Yeah, so be careful. This is with ayin and a chaf, not an aleph or an a het. Um, so achartem oti, you turbed me, you troubled me, disturbed me. Lahavi isheni. So this is the hefil, it's the causative. No, thank you. Um, so hmm, I wanted to say busha, but it's bash with an aleph. To have a bad smell, to stink. Give ashtem. Huh. Make foul. Bash ha-yaor. Huh. In Exodus. To make, to be abhorred, loathsome, odious. Cause, make to stink utterly. A primitive root. To smell bad. Figuratively, to be offensive morally. To be abhorred. Make a stink. Um, used 18 times in the Bible. Uh, when I first saw it, I just assumed that it was busha, which means which means embarrassment, but it has the aleph in the middle, so yeah, it's a separate thing. Bet aleph um, shin, and it's in the causative, right? To cause me to, I guess, smell. Beyoshev haaretz, with those who sit in the land, right? Those who dwell in the land. Yoshev. It's the participle of to settle. Bakanani uva prizi, right? With the Canaanites and with the Prizzites. Ve'ani metei mispar, and I am few of number. Um, and this word metei mispar, um, pretty much I think almost always gets used with metei with mispar. Kol ir metim. Huh. Metei mispar in Deuteronomy 4:27. Metei me'at, Deuteronomy 28. Metav mispar, again, few men in Deuteronomy. Metei mispar, metei, yeah. So few in number. Metei mispar, here they have all the things. Okay. Apparently, in some places, it's very referring to males only. Hmm. Okay. Ve'ne'esfu. So this is the nifal. So it's the passive of asaf, to gather. So they will gather. They will get together. Alai, upon me, with an ayin. Vehikuni, and they shall strike me. Right. Makot. Um, this is one of those verbs. The root is hey chaf hey, so it has two weak thing. Oh, nun chaf hey. Okay. Um, yeah, hikuni, and they will. So basically, most everything but the chaf disappeared, and that's why it's so short, even though it's in the hefil. Um, and they will attack me. They will strike me. They will hit me. Venishmadeti, right? So the root shin mem dalid is to be destroyed. Shmad can also refer to a time of oppression, and a meshumad, somebody who is destroyed, is what how we refer to um, an apostate. So, venishmadeti, and I will be destroyed. Um, Ani uveti, me and my household. Okay, 31. But they said, should he treat our sister like a harlot? But they replied, should he have treated our sister like a prostitute? And they said, shall he make our sister like a harlot? Vayomru, hachazona ye'aseh et achotenu. So, and they said, right? Ha ke zona. right? So the hey at the beginning makes it into a question. Chaf is like. Zona um, can mean provisioner, but um, here obviously it's referring to a harlot, a prostitute. Um, Ye'aseh shall be done, shall be treated. Et achotenu are sisters actually. No, achotenu. Yeah, so if it was sisters, it would be achayot, but it's achotenu. It's our sisters, sister singular. It is written bemilui. And then there is a petucha. There's an open break in the um, scroll here, which makes a good place for it to be the end of um, the chapter. Okay, so that is chapter 34. I am going to hang around for a while. If anybody has questions, please feel free to ask. That there is apparently at least one person, it appears, maybe two people who are watching. Um, if you have any questions about this or anything else, please feel free to ask. Um, Otherwise, I am going to end with the verse I always end with, Zephaniah 3:9. Um, Ki az epoch el amim, safar berura likro hulam, beshem havaya leovdo Shchem echad. For then I will restore to the people a pure, a winnowed language, likro hulam, so that all of them can call Beshem Havaya in the name of the Tetragrammaton, Leovdo to serve him, Shchem Echad, with one accord, with one shoulder. Okay. Uh, yep. I'm gonna hang around at least another 20 minutes. If nobody has any questions or anything. Jane. Okay. Turbid of a liquid, cloudy, opaque, or thick with suspended matter. The turbid estuary, muddy. Okay. Long time no see, Shane. How have you been? Hey, Dominic. Yes, you did miss it. How you doing? Eddie's been waiting for you to call. Well, he's been waiting for you to call. Um, I'm not sure I kept your phone number when you called me. I don't think I saved it to my phone. You could try that. Yes. If you send me a text, I can get you his. I can get your number to his phone number. I was going to log off unless you have any questions or anything. Wow, nice. Okay. Have a Merry Christmas. Perfect. I'll see you later, Dominic.